Hello folks, welcome to day 49, the 18th of February. Long day today. So talking further about limitation breeds creativity. I've been trying to think of good links between my drumming and my writing. The whole limitation breeds creativity came from my drumming initially. And so a really good example, I think, is a comparison that's often made between, say, jazz drummers and rock drummers, whereby jazz drummers might have a very simple setup, just a hi-hat, a snare drum, and a bass drum, and then a couple of toms and a couple of cymbals. And then you might find a prog rock drummer, say, has 12 tom-toms and 15 cymbals and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so there's a lot of argument, I think, for, the less drums you have, the more creative you have to be with them. And there's lots of different other ways that you can limit yourself musically as well. You can limit yourself in terms of vocabulary and that kind of thing. So I think when you kind of relate that across to writing, one way you could look at it is writing short stories or perhaps writing flash fiction. So deciding I'm going to tell a story in 500 words or in 1,000 words or in 100 words. And that puts different challenges on you as an author than writing a full novel. I know a lot of people struggle very much with writing all 80 or 100,000 words of a novel, but I think a lot of people actually struggle a lot with creating a really powerful 1,000 word short story as well. What a short story can do for you is really make you hone down to the essentials of the story, in the same way that what having only a few drums can do is make you really hone down to what you're trying to say with the drums. So the three kind of things that I think you can really take away from a limitation of word count is, first of all, you have to figure out what the heart of your story is. What is the key sort of message that you're trying to get across, or the key feeling that you're trying to evoke with that story? And really nail that with every sentence. So you can't have any slack sentences, you can't have any points where you're not supporting the story. The second thing that you have to really think about hard, and can often change in the edit, is where you want to start the story and where you want to finish the story. People often say in a novel that you can lose the first chapter, because often you'll start earlier than you need to in the novel. But with a short story, it's even more powerful. Let's say you've only got 1,000 words. Where you start that story has a whole impact on everything. Have you created the character to enough depth, without, so that the story has resonance, but without devoting the first 500 words to learning who the character is and none of the plot and that kind of thing. So that's the second one. And then the third one, just going back to the idea of character again, is that when you only have that very limited word time, you have to create a character who has resonance for the reader, who the reader can empathize with and understand. And when you only have a very few words to do that, it takes a lot of skill to create a character powerfully in that short period of time. So for me, that's three ways where limiting your word count can really strengthen you as a writer, strengthen your creativity, because you have new challenges that you wouldn't have in another style of writing. Progress for today, not wonderful. 3,400 words written and 2,400 words edited. My quote from tonight is from Descartes, and he says, "The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries." Absolutely true. I've read some wonderful books. Charles Dickens, one guy I'd love to sit down and have a pint with. What an amazing author. But you feel like you get so much of him through his novels. It's wonderful. So I hope everyone's had a wonderful Wednesday, and I shall see you tomorrow. Cheers.